Hi, welcome to episode 6 of Art Tightrope Walking. My name's Ian J. Franks and I'm your host for this series, resulting from a collaboration between Amplified Results Consulting and Rentouch. In this series, we're trying to help you consider ways that you might overcome some of the challenges of distributed arts and particularly PI planning. In this episode, we're going to be talking about timing. Art Tightrope Walking with me, Ian J. Franks, resulting from a collaboration between Amplified Results Consulting and Rentouch. What time do we start? When's the scrum of scrums? When's the next management meeting? All of these questions can be easily answered when you're co-located. It's a simple thing, it's now, it's in an hour's time, or even go and grab the people. But when you're distributed, these things become much harder to organise. So how can we mitigate some of these challenges? Like most things in a release-trained engineer's world, it's about planning and preparation. Obviously, you're going to need to develop an agenda that best supports the multiple time zones that you're handling. And you're going to need to make sure that agenda is well communicated, as we've discussed in other episodes. So, what's the first things to consider? Think about what time zones you're contending with. If you're only offset by a couple of hours, it might be that you can still do a 2-day planning event, and you just need to start a little earlier in one location, maybe finish a little later in another location. If you're starting to deal with time zones that are about 4 hours apart from the two extremes, then maybe you're getting into somebody having to work and do a bit of planning into their evening on their own, or you can still perhaps get away with a 2-day agenda. But once you're getting beyond that, you're probably pushing yourself into at least a 2.5 day, maybe even a 3-day agenda of some description, and you still may have to have periods of time where teams are working on their own. So having a clear, summarised agenda with the different time zones is really, really important. I've had this challenge in the past where I was hosting from the middle location of 3 that were spread out across 7 or 8 hours. Taking the time to do a bit of planning, taking the time to get the agenda clearly communicated makes a big difference. On the screen you can see an example of an agenda that you might want to use if you're working with some of the major common locations that we often find. And this is clearly showing the different time zones and the different times for the meetings in those different zones. It also shows that there are different periods in the day when teams may be working on their own and other teams may have finished for the day, simply to try and be considerate of all the different challenges of the different time zones we've got. After all, somebody working at 2 AM is not going to be very effective, so we need to take that into account if we can't co-locate our teams. In the example we've just looked at, you see that the planning takes place from Tuesday to Thursday. This is another consideration about people and their time. Working Tuesday to Thursday allows for travel on Monday and Friday, allows people to still have some decent home life, and allows you to achieve a sustainable pace, which we know is important. We don't want this to be seen as burdensome, we want it to be seen as a value-add activity. We want people to be excited and motivated to come and get involved. Whatever approach you take, I recommend that you get this clearly documented and communicated well in advance. I recommend that you make this part of the Scrum Master briefing that we discussed in a previous episode, because they are going to be key to making sure that people are in the right places at the right time and helping you facilitate the event. Hopefully you've already recognised the importance of investing in PI planning, and so you also recognise the importance of coming up with a realistic agenda and timing that mean people are available and able to contribute and give you a quality output rather than be working at silly o'clock in the morning. So this is our approach, this is one of our suggestions. I hope it helps you or gives you some ideas. If you have other ideas that you want to share, we'd welcome hearing from you. Please let us know what you may have tried in the past. Thanks very much, and until the next time, stay safe out there.